There are 4 tips that, though might sound quite simple, are actually very rarely shared ever as one, as to how you as a triathlete can start to structure a little bit your strength and conditioning work around your core. Remembering again, strength and conditioning isn't just about core training. There are other areas that we need to address, but this being one that can be important, and not just important to prevent back pain or limit back pain if you've got a bit of stiffness there, but actually just to be able to improve your performance, so we've got more stability through the spine, so we can actually transfer force better through the body, whether that's out for our hand and arm when we're swimming, or out for our feet into the pedals when we're cycling as well. As always, any comments, leave below. Like and subscribe to the channel. That allows us to do bigger and better things at the same time. And if you want to learn more about our online strength and conditioning support that we provide to triathletes across the world, click on the link below in the description. So our first tip is going to be that you've got to be able to create and generate force through your abdominal muscles to stabilise that spine, to prevent back problems. Now, the way you do that is by developing strength. And the first tip is to use what we call general overload core exercises. Now, these are ones where actually the body, the core, is completely static and there's very little movement going on anywhere else. So Craig's got his arms going in and out here. But other examples would be things like planks. They're very stable exercises without much going on, and that stability allows us to be able to recruit the core muscles to a high degree, so we can make sure the ability to generate force, to create stability, prevent back pain, is absolutely top notch. The difference with a dissociation exercise is usually the hip will move while your core is completely static. And this takes a different level of skill. So on this drill as an example, Craig's hip and knee will move while he's actually supporting his spine by using his core strength. This type of drill is really important because what it starts to do is it transfers the actual core strength we've created by the more general exercise into actually the movements that are fundamentally required to support your spine. So in this case, when you're running, or even when you're cycling, because your hip and your knee move while you try and stabilise your spine. It's scary how people can be really good at things like planks, but as soon as they need to be able to do dissociation work, all of a sudden they can't stabilise their spine. So covering both bases, really important step. And our final tip is to do with technique. With core training in particular, it's very, very common, particularly in the triathlete population, where you'll do core exercises, but you don't feel it's that difficult, or you don't feel your core. The number one reason, undoubtedly, why that happens is because you're not recruiting your core. You haven't used the right technique to use those muscles, and that's one of the reasons why you're probably having back pain. Even on an exercise like a plank that looks so straightforward, we'll commonly see people say, oh, I can hold a plank for 2 minutes. But when you look at it technically and what they're feeling, they're not feeling their core very much. And typical things we might see is we might see here, the hips are a little bit low and the arch in the lower back starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Or what we'll see is as they fatigue, they'll go the other way. They want to start to just keep those hips a little bit too high as a way to use their shoulders more, to take the pressure off their core. So as a given rule in any core exercise, regardless of what it is, from the starting rep, you should feel your core. Often what we say is before you set the position, feel your core engage, so all through the front of your rib cage and your stomach, and then get going. If you can't feel that, you're not doing it right. So core strength work is just part of a great strength and conditioning program. It's not the whole program. And we know it's not just about preventing injuries in your back and reducing pain. We know we can see performance benefits in terms of using less oxygen, for example, when we run.